Hey y'all, remember back in November when I showed you how to make that ground beef special sandwich? Well, at the end of the video, I gave you a sneak peek of a piece of black magic cake, and I promised to show you how to make it. Well, today's the day. Both recipes come straight from a vintage 1950s cookbook called Kentucky Cooking New and Old, so I'm going to show you how to make this delicious black magic cake. Let's get started. The very first ingredient that you're going to need is a box of white cake mix. I've chosen to go with an Aldi's brand, which is called Baker's Corner. Of course, you can use whatever kind of cake mix you want as long as it's white. And this is only 99 cents. The first step is to prepare the cake mix according to package directions. So I know I don't have to show you all these steps. Just follow the directions on the back of the box. Okay, for our next step, we're going to make the fudgy part that goes on top of the cake. And you're going to need 1.5 cups of cold water and 1 cup of white sugar. Now I'm just going to mix all of this together in one large mixing cup. I'm also supposed to have 1 cup of brown sugar. However, I have slightly less than 1 cup, as you can see. So I'm just going to top that off with a little bit of white sugar. I'm not going to drive all the way to the store right now just to get some brown sugar for this recipe. So here's my white sugar with the brown sugar. Okay, and now I'm going to pour the white cake batter into my 9 by 13 inch pan, which I have already sprayed with cooking spray. Now I'm adding 1/2 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder to the water and sugar. And of course, you're going to want to stir everything up. And of course, using a whisk would be a good idea because you want to get all the lumps out, make everything smooth. Now you're going to pour the liquid into the cake mix. I have to confess, the first time I tried this recipe, it didn't come out exactly as expected. So after a couple of attempts, I think I finally got it right. The recipes may be a little bit confusing, the original recipe. When I first tried it, the top it had the cocoa and the sugar on the top, but it was all crusty and dry. So just follow it like I'm doing. Pour the liquid into the cake mix, and you're going to bake this in a preheated oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes or until it's done. And if you've never made this cake before, I do recommend that you keep an eye on it the first time. I'm also going to cover it with foil while it's baking. Okay, this might turn out better than expected. When I insert the knife into the cake part, it comes out clean. Now this does form like a pudding in the cake or underneath the cake, on top of the cake. Yeah, it's pretty wet. Let's see how this turns out. We'll let it cool down. I have a feeling it's going to be good. Okay guys, let's give this cake a day in court. Okay, oops, breaking up a bit. The liquid, the pudding is still thin. It could thicken up a little bit. And it's actually very good. The chocolate sauce is supposed to form a nice cushion on the bottom for the white cake. And of course, you're going to have some marbling in the cake. But most of the sauce is going to be on the bottom. And of course, as the cake cools down, the sauce is going to get a little bit thicker. But that's what it's supposed to be, a chocolate sauce, almost like a chocolate pudding. The cake is fully cooked. And it's really, really good and very easy to make. And I'm pleased with the way that it came out this time around. Okay, that's it for this video. If you've made it through the entire thing, I do appreciate you sticking around. And if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up because that really helps me out. And while you're here, please do consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already done so, because I do plan to upload similar content in the future. And please do check out my link in the bio. Please visit my Amazon page where I make a lot of great recommendations.